Well, welcome back to the channel, everyone, and I'm not going to waste your time. This video is all about shallow fishing for F1s. Now, I actually hold the record on this lake with 239 pounds, something like that, and it was predominantly F1 shallow. A mix of pellet shallow, slop shallow, paste shallow, but the bulk of the fish, especially at this time of year, we're just in the midst of spring, if you like, will be on pellet shallow. You could probably catch on casters, but pellet shallow, brilliant method. And I just want to talk to you about the importance of having different rigs set up and how important having different depths covered really is. Now, you'll have seen it, you've probably seen it on videos, YouTube videos. The top F1 anglers have 6, 7, 8, 10 rigs sometimes set up on the side tray, all short kits. They leave them set up in the bag, and the reason why they have so many rigs is that they're trying to keep the length of line at a certain distance, whether that's short or, as I'll show you today hopefully, longer, but they're trying to cover different depths without having to move the float. So if, say for example, they're catching fish at 12 inches deep, start missing bites and they want to go to 10 inches deep or 8 inches, they just pick another rig up and go in and try that and hopefully find the depth that the fish are feeding at. It's a really important, deadly way of fishing, keeping in touch with those fish that are feeding, coming up and down in the water, finding where the fish are happy feeding. It's a brilliant method. You do need a few rigs, so I'm just going to run you through. I've got 4 up today. The fish on this lake do like to come shallow. It's not red hot or anything, but I do think they'll come quite shallow. So I haven't gone anything below sort of 20 inches, but I would have on a match day, I'd probably have 24 inches, 20 inches, 16 inches, 12 inches, and then 8 inches, and then I'd have a jigger set up as well. So 5 rigs probably, maybe even a 6th one. It sounds a lot, but trust me, when you're fishing shallow for F1s, an inch can make all the difference. 2 inches can make even more difference. So these are the rigs that I've got up. First one I've got up. Now I'm one who likes to use a really short line between my pole tip and float, and here there's no limit. I could fish 2 inches, 1 inch, whatever I want. But in spring, sometimes it pays to leave a longer line. So this rig I've got set up with 18 inches of line above my float. I've got a number 8 back shot above it. I could put 2 on there, I could put 3 on there. Depends on the rules of the fishery. There's not really that many rules here, so I could overshot my float if I wanted to with that back shot. Some venues you can't. I've got a 4x8 tinks. This one's set at 14 inches. So I've got a shot right underneath it, and I've just got one number 10 down the line. That's all I need for that little setup, and that's a lovely little setup that is. That's I can flick that about with that longer line. It's going to catch me some fish. The one I expect to catch most of the fish on is like my middling one, again at 4x8s. I've set that at 16 inches, but it could go up to sort of 18 inches, and then I've got, I don't know, a foot of line between the pole tip and float. That's going to be a bit of a searcher. I've got one 18 inches deep with, it's actually a 4x10 tinks, strung out shot, and then 8 inches of line. I've got a big match coming up where on a venue I've got to use 8 inches of line, Lindholm Lakes, so I'm just trying to get into the swing of that really. But yeah, 4x10 tinks, strung out shot below it, and then the final rig is the jigger, of course. Where could we be without a jigger? This is one of the nufish ones, 4x14 size, so I've got a bulk of number 9s underneath it, and then I've got a stop 8 inches below the bead. The jigger's a funny one for me. If I can catch on fixed rigs, I actually prefer fixed rigs. A lake like this, there's a lot of bonus carp, and you don't tend to catch them on a jigger. I'm not saying you won't catch them, but you don't tend to, and I just prefer to use a normal rig really. But a jigger on its day is so effective, and I'll probably show you that as we get fishing. But that's it. And basically, I've got all those rigs, as you can see, and basically, as soon as I miss a bite, I'll change depth, basically. That's how it's going to work today. I'll quickly change the depth. I'm actually going to move that one down to 12 inches. I've got another rig in my box, in my hard case, that's for 12 inches and 8 inches, but I haven't got them out today. I've just got these 4 out to start with. And having that, you can see that the 3 main floats there at staggered intervals allows me to chop and change between the rigs and find the depth where the fish are happy coming at, feeding at. And it might be that I have to change my rig a few times throughout the session, but until we get fishing we won't know. And I don't know about you, but I'm itching to get going, so let's do some shallow fishing. All I've got is a tub of the fishery 4 mils. You could use casters, you could use maggots, pellets today. Pellets are really good here. So yeah, let's get on with it. We'll get a camera on the far bank so you can see what I'm doing from the other side, and then we'll talk about it and get catching loads of F1 shallow, hopefully. Let's get bagging shallow, hopefully. I'm gonna feed it about 10 metres, and I'm gonna pick up my middle for diddle rig. I'm gonna put a back shot on. Number 8 back shot. Which about 4 inches above the float. And because this has got a little bit of a longer line above it, I think the back shot might be quite important. So that rig's set at 16 inches, which is a a middling sort of depth really. Just got a band 16 hook on with a band on it. Let's pop one of them in there. Nice and simple, nice and effective. Just hide that a minute, I don't need that bowl of water a minute. Now all I'm trying to do is get a gauge for where the fish are going to be sat. They could be really high, they could be deceptively low, but I always start with a rig that is in the middle, and I always start with a rig that isn't a jigger. Only because I can't believe it. I am fishing too far out. Just drop that in there just to feed some bait, and I caught an F1 shallow. Obviously I don't want to fish a top kit shallow because that would be a rubbish demo. That's unbelievable. Good one as well. Where was I? Yeah, so I don't want to start on a jigger because I haven't got anything to work on indication wise. I just prefer finding out where they are roughly with fixed floats, and then if I have to use a jigger then I will, but hopefully I'll just catch on fixed floats because I just prefer it. So I'm just going to feed before I go out there, 10 pellets or so, and then get to position, and I'm going to give it 2 slaps and then let the rig fish. And oh, look at that, that was unbelievable. Straight away. I've been feeding it for a few minutes, so I was expecting a few fish, but I didn't expect to bite that quick. Nice one. Come on. Nice to catch some of the big boys in here. There's loads of 3-pounders in this lake now, which I can't wait to get involved with in the summer when it's pace shallow time. I'm not going to feed this time, I'm going to get out there. Ducks are in the peg, of course. And we'll turn that rig over. Remember, we're at 16 inches here. Oh, this bite. This bite. So I'm already thinking I could probably fish shallower still already. Bad feed that. I'm trying to stay relatively tight to my float so that the fish, I'm trying to get them to hook themselves. Yeah. See that one, I foul up that one above the... So I've caught a fish really quickly there, but I missed a few bites, and the fish I caught the chuck before was as the bait hit the water, which suggests to me that they're much higher up than what I'm fishing, even though I'm only fishing 16 inches deep, which would be shallow to a lot of people. I know what these F1s are like, and they're crafty devils, and they could be, take it right down. They could be sat much higher than what I'm fishing. I'll give it one more go with that rig. So I don't want to write it off just yet, but my theory is that the shallowest one is going to be good here. But my thinking is that the shallowest one is probably going to be best. So I'll slap that over. See, that's gone on the slap again. It's lovely, don't get me wrong. And this rig being at 16 inches does give me a little bit of leeway in terms of I can catch them on the drop and stuff. But I'm going to pick, even though I've caught a fish just there straight away, I'm going to pick the other rig up. If I can slap it over and get one every chuck in without missing a bite, then obviously you've just been more efficient, and that is why you have all these different rigs up. Nice that. Nice fish, nice stamp. Soon build a weight of those beauties. So let's pick up the shallow one. like I say, in a match, I'd have one shallower still. Right, where is my shallow one? There's my shallow one. So this one's at 12 inches. Right, so I've picked up my shallow rig now, which is 12 inches. And let's see, because like I say, the ideal scenario is that we get to a point where we slap it over and get a clean bite first go. Don't mind the ducks so much. So let's see. There we go, that's what we're after. So I've picked that rig up and I've just turned it over and I've got my bite straight away without missing one. And that's the difference. That rig is 4 inches shallower than that other one, and you get a clean bite as quick as that. And that is the difference, because when you've got them spells in your match when the fish are in front of you and they're having their little feed, you know, the last thing you want to happen is go in, miss 7 or 8 bites and then catch one. And you feel like you're catching them quick, don't get me wrong, but if you can go over and turn it over and get one, get out, duck. Let's see if we get one. Yep. So that's 2 chucks where we've been as efficient as possible. We've turned the rig over and we've got one straight away at 12 inches. Let's just see if that happens again. It might not. I might have to come even shallower. But at 12 inches, that's 2 in 2 on 2 slaps. So that's very, very good odds to me. Which suggests to me that at the moment the fish are feeding at that depth. Don't need to feed a lot today, so it's already obvious that they're maybe out there already. I'm beating with the old quack. I'm going to turn it over twice. Oh, missed one. Felt that one. I have got that long line on, with it being spring. I think the fish are probably feeding a little bit more than I would have imagined, to be fair. But an option would be short line. I think I could probably catch short line tapping today, which is a great approach on here. But for the sake of this, we're going to stick with a long line. I'm going to go out again at that depth, 12 inches, and then I'm going to shallow up the next chuck. Why wouldn't I? Look at that. So that's not bad at all. Don't mind that. That's very quick. Can't really get much quicker. But just for demonstration purposes, I'll come up and there'll be a depth where you can't get bites. There'll be a point where the F1s aren't happy feeding at that depth. It might be 8 inches, it might be 6 inches. You can't go any shallower than 6 inches here. But this is what we're talking about today, ladies and gents. It's interesting. It's interesting fishing. I don't even feed that go, and we got one straight away. I think there's a lot of F1s in front of me, which is great. As promised, I'm going to go take 2 more inches off and go down to 10. See what happens. I say there'll be a point of no return where you don't get any bites. That's where you need to. In an ideal world, you want to be fishing as shallow as you can get. That's right, that says 10 inches there. Sounds like nothing, but it is. Big deal, that is. That might be past the point of no return, who knows? And by that I mean where you don't get any bites at all. It's about finding that perfect depth where you turn it over, you get your bite, you don't miss it. And like, look, I've not had any liners there straight away, and I've just hooked one straight away. So maybe that 10 inches is the depth to fish at. Unbelievable fishing for April. See, that was nice. That's how I like it. No liners, no missed bites. Turned it over, and I caught. Personally, if I can have it like that every time, that's how I want it. Don't want to be missing 6 or 7 bites before actually coming back with an F1. That's no good for anybody, that. See if we repeat. See, no bites at all, no liners like I was getting before. Oh, Mr. Bite then. Yep. Clean as a whistle. So for me, that depth is going to take some licking today because it's clean. I'm not, no aggro. I like aggro free me. No aggro. Missed the bite, but compared to the other rig, or 12 inches should I say, it was great. Took it past the pole tip. Trying to, look at that, that's lovely. That's the depth, 10 inches. For the sake of the video, I'm going to go up to 12, back up to 12, and just see if we miss a few bites again. It might just, you know, prove our point. And then the final one, I'll put the jigger on. So we've gone up, back up to 12, so doesn't sound a lot, but we'll see. See if we get that clean bite or not. Let's put the jigger on next. Catch one more on this, and then we'll put the jigger on. Everyone's favourite jigger. To be fair, in summer on here, the jigger is really good. Mr. Bite. Remember, I've put that Mr. Bite. I put 2 inches on, that's all. Mr. Bite. Got one. So I missed 3 bites before getting one there, which I'm just not happy with that. I'm going to go back down to 10 inches just next chuck just to see. It may just be that we've missed a couple of bites. It does happen. But when you're fishing for these fish, pound fish, 10-ounce pound fish, you've got to be as efficient as possible. Got my marker there, so I'm going to slide it back down to 10 inches, see what happens. And then we'll try the jigger. The jigger. So look, moving it down 2 inches. Sounds like nothing. We'll see. Could be the perfect demo. It might be a load of old rubbish. Oh, wow, the fishing's fantastic. Look at that. That. What a brilliant demonstration of how much difference that sort of 2 inches of depth can make. I can't make it any clearer than that. I've turned it over and I've got one immediately because my rig's at the right depth and it was just 2 inches different. So we'll slip the jigger on and then that'll do us. Another nice F1. Like peas in a pod, they are the shallow fish on this lake. 10 ounces I reckon. Where's the jigger? Right, the jigger's a totally different beast. I would have this one up, a 4x14, and then I also make some really small jiggers out of polyballs. They're very effective too, especially on this lake when they're coming so high. This jigger, in my opinion, is better for when the fish are sitting a bit deeper, 2 foot or so. But we'll see, we might catch one. Of course, the difference with the jigger is I can turn it over and hold it tight straight away, so it might be really good today. I'm holding it tight, look, straight away. That, I reckon that was about 6 inches deep, that one, so that is the advantage of the jigger, obviously. I can go down deep, but I can also fish it very shallow, so you've got the best of both worlds. When it's right, it's deadly. This is often a better fish as well. This is often the way as well. You spend a little bit of time with the other rigs finding the you know, the correct depth or where the fish want to be sitting before actually catching them with a jigger. When you've got an idea, I know that them fish are right up, so I'm not going to let my jigger go too deep because there's no point on going past where the fish are feeding. So we're just gonna keep everything nice and tight. I'm going to turn that jigger over and hold it as tight as I can. Oh, felt one then. I can see them, they're banging the float, so they're really high, them fish. it down a bit, give it a little jig. I must admit, I don't have a lot of success when it comes to actually jigging it, but obviously everyone's different. I'm going past the fish there. I can see the float is going to the side, which is classic that you're going past the fish. That was right on the surface, that bite. I can see that I'm going past the fish with this. I don't know, it's not, don't feel as efficient. I'm just having a bit of a jig. I'm not going deep, but I feel like I am going well past the fish today with that. I think that 10-inch rig is going to be the one. Yeah, see, I'm not happy with that at all because I'm getting them. Don't get me wrong, I'm catching them. It's just not as good as my other rig. And there are days when the jig is better. I'm going to go quickly whiz back that 10-inch one on. Nice fish. We'll quickly whiz the 10-inch one back on. Hopefully finish with 2 quick fish. So where is she? Where is she? Where is she? There she is. 10 inches. I'll tell you what we'll do. Catch one here and then we'll shallow it up even further. Lovely floats, these tinks, actually. So we're at 10 inches, back to 10 inches, which I believe is the best rig, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. Not sure if that was a bite or just me losing track of the float, to be honest. Bit of a wind, yeah. See, for me that's the best rig. 4B8 tinks, 10 inches deep. Just gonna, for the sake of the video, personally that depth would be, I think, where I'd probably settle for a little bit. Obviously the fish change where they're going to be, but I'd probably settle on that. But for the sake of the video, we'll drop down to 8 inches, which is very shallow actually for this time of year, but it can be a great depth. F1s are swines that can come really shallow. It's quite nice actually being able to cover multiple depths with one rig like this. Look at that, 8 inches, clean as a whistle. How good is that? That's fish too. I've got to have another go on that. Well hooked. That was quick, wasn't it? Right, so let's just see if we catch one more at 8 inches and then I'm about done, I think, because it proves my point. Look, no liners. Oh, I felt that one. I don't know what happened there, it just bumped off. Look at that. Yeah, no liners. It proves my point. I couldn't write it better than that, to be honest. It's exactly how in my head it works. The fish are dropping up and down where I'll accept a bait. The highest point you can fish without missing bites and getting clean bites like that is the ultimate when it comes to this F1 fishing game. And I hope you enjoyed that. It was hopefully the perfect demo of what we're talking about, the importance of different rigs. You've seen perfectly how just adding going between 10 inches and 12 inches made a massive difference, and certainly that even deeper one almost made it impossible to catch them. So big lesson there for everyone. Get yourself a few short kits. They're cheap enough these days. If you are going to do F1 fishing, my advice would be to get a few short kits. Have a few rigged up with different rigs on, different depths. Give yourself a few options and you will reap the rewards no end with it. So nice one everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you again very soon.